The room feels louder than it should, not in sound, in pressure. It presses against your chest before you sit down, before anyone speaks. A hum you can't trace to a single voice. Your shoulders tighten without asking. Breath gets shallow. You notice exits. No one is arguing. Nothing is wrong. And yet something inside you leans back, already tired. It feels like standing too close to a speaker that is turned on. The vibration is there anyway, low, relentless. You wonder if you were imagining it. You scan faces for clues, smiles, laughter, normalcy. But the weight stays quiet, unnamed. Most people notice this moment. They walk in and settle. They adjust. But you hover, waiting for something to drop, and it never quite does. There's a kind of exhaustion that begins before anything happens, not from effort, from anticipation. You feel it in crowded conversation, in offices with constant chatter, in family gatherings where emotions overlap without order. Words stack on top of each other. Stories spill without landing. Energy moves too fast. You find yourself listening harder than you want to, tracking tone shifts, tiny pauses, changes in breath. It happens even when you don't mean to, especially then. But that is not the part most people notice. What they see is distance, quiet, a pause before you speak. They assume shyness or judgment or boredom. They don't feel what is happening underneath. There's something quieter happening there, a slow accumulation, like static building under skin. Every laugh carries something extra. Every complaint leaves residue. Every excited story hums too bright. You don't react, you absorb, not because you want to, because your system does have a filter for volume. And over time, your body learns something your mind hasn't named yet, that certain spaces are not neutral. They cost something, so you begin to brace. Early, often without knowing why, you may tell yourself at S mood, or tiredness, or sensitivity you should, or through. You might even push back, stay longer, smile harder. But the unease grows faster than the effort. There's a strange loneliness in that, being surrounded and still pulling inward, feeling too much while appearing to feel nothing at all. And the worst part is the noise. It has the lack of permission to step away from it, because nothing is technically wrong. No one is being cruel. No boundary has been crossed, yet something in you feels crossed anyway. That is where it starts to change, not outwardly. Internally, you begin to associate connection with vigilance, presence with effort, togetherness with loss of ground, but that connection isn't obvious. It forms slowly. Under the surface, you might notice it later in how relief washes over you when you were alone, and how silence feels like safety, not emptiness. You don't miss people, you miss quiet, still you keep questioning yourself. Why does this feel so heavy? Why can't you just relax like everyone else? There's a common belief that loud spaces are alive, that energy is good, that stimulation means engagement. And if you struggle there, the story says something is wrong with you. But that belief skips something essential, something subtle. It assumes all nervous systems take in the world the same way. They some take it in through the edges, through shifts, through undercurrents. Some bodies listen for what isn't said. They register emotion before meaning, tension before words. And when too much of that happens at once, the system does get excited, it gets overwhelmed. But that is not how it feels at first. At first, it feels like unease without cause, like standing on unstable ground that looks solid. You may blame the room, or yourself, or the day. The truth sits somewhere else. Waiting, past the halfway point, something becomes clear. Not as an explanation, as a recognition. You are not reacting to volume. You are reacting to uncontained emotion. Emotion without boundaries, without pacing, without rest. In emotionally loud environments, feelings spill outward. They bounce, they collide. And if your system is tuned to feel what others don't notice, there's no way to stay untouched. You don't just hear excitement. You feel the anxiety beneath it. You don't just hear jokes. You feel the tension they're recovering. You don't just hear anger. You feel where it wants to go next. That constant intake creates a sense of threat, not danger. Threat. The kind that tells the body to stay alert, to watch, to hold itself together. Safety requires containment, predictability, emotional pacing. When a space lacks that, your body reads it as unstable. Even if your mind argues otherwise, this isn't something you chose. It's something you noticed before you had language for it. Over time, the label appears, empath. But the experience existed long before the word. Being tuned doesn't mean being fragile. It means your awareness is wide. And wide awareness needs structure to feel safe. Without it, you shrink your presence to survive the room. You speak less, you give fewer signals, you hold your breath emotionally, not because you don't care, because caring costs too much in those spaces. And so the unsafety isn't about people being bad, it is about the absence of emotional walls. Walls that let feeling exist without flooding. Most environments reward expression. They rarely reward regulation. So those who need regulation feel out of place. That is not a flaw. It is a mismatch. Still, the body does de-analyze mismatches. It just responds. Tight chest, restless legs, a wish to disappear without leaving. You might notice how quickly you recover once you are alone, how your thoughts slow, how your breath deepens. That is not withdrawal, it is recalibration. Your system returning to a range where it can feel without defending itself. Understanding this does fix anything. It does to make loud rooms quiet. It does to make emotions smaller, but it changes the way the experience it inside you. It moves from confusion to context. You stop asking why. You can't handle it. And start noticing what your body has been handling all along. There is no dramatic ending to this realization, no moment of triumph, just a soft easing. A sense that the discomfort had intelligence, that it was pointing to something real, not something broken. In the end, it isn't about avoiding the world or retreating from connection. It is about understanding why certain spaces feel like standing in open water without a shoreline, and why others feel like ground. That knowing does solve everything, but it lets you stop fighting the signal. You may still feel unsafe in emotionally loud environments, but now the feeling has a shape. And sometimes that is enough to let the weight rest where it belongs.